Hello, my name is Adam Manuel, and in this video I'm going to briefly discuss the Scopes Trial, or as it is sometimes referred to as the Monkey Trial, due to the fact that in The Origin of the Species by Charles Darwin, we have his argument that man evolved from some kind of primate millions of years ago, hence that's why they sometimes call it the Monkey Trial, due to the fact that evolution was a idea that was on trial between the fundamentalists and the modernists. The fundamentalists believe that Christianity is, specifically the Bible, is an infallible source, that everything in the Bible should be taken literally. So when it says the earth was created in 7 days, it was created in 7 days, and things like that. So take that perspective and put it against the modernist perspective, which basically you have liberal Christians who were taking their religious beliefs and applying it to the new scientific knowledge that was coming out in the time, specifically involved with the idea of evolution. So you have these various perspectives going on. A little information about the top trial itself. It was basically a trial that was set up according to the article by David Minton that we read last week, in that an organization got in touch with Scopes and told him that if he was willing to go on trial, they'd be willing to pay for everything, and it might create some kind of tourist attention to the area of Dayton, Tennessee. And he agreed. But the strange thing is that the book, he wasn't even a teacher. That was the main claim of the trials, that he was teaching evolution to children, and it was illegal in that time period. But it turns out the book that he was using wasn't necessarily teaching about the definition of evolution. He was using a textbook that stated that Christianity, that stated the Caucasian, or the white man or woman, was the highest species of human, and people from other nationalities and races were lower species of human. So it's close to the idea of evolution, but it wasn't very defined. But they took all this and put it together, and they created this, what I'd like to call a show trial. And basically you have on the left, on this one side, you have the very strong Christian perspective from William Jennings Bryan, who was a devout Christian, he tried 3 times to become president. And on the other side you have Clarence Darrow, who believed, he was a lawyer, and he wasn't really Christian in any way. He was atheist or agnostic according to the sources. And in this trial you basically have those two fighting it out to define what is right. So the 2 newspaper articles that I found that talk about this time period were the Evening Star, that was published July 10th, 1925, and in it we have the arrival of Clarence Darrow to Dayton, Tennessee. Basically, it discusses how he was received with some applause and some attendance. Some people showed up, and he signed autographs and stuff like that. But then you have the fact that in the newspaper article it says that even though people were there to see him, it's funny that no one was willing to pick up his 200 pounds worth of luggage, which shows that while he was there and people were liking his idea, it was basically already biased toward the view that he was not the main goal, the main support behind this area. The main support was going to be behind William Jennings Bryan, who came 2 days earlier, and according to the newspaper article in the New York Times, he came with much fanfare. There were crowds and parties and parades, and he got to tour the town and all kinds of stuff like that. And you read in the newspaper article that he was very strong against the scientists and spoke very negatively about it. And so then when we get into the actual trial, we have these two men fighting it out through words. And in the end, it turns out that due to Bryan's view on the creation of the world and whether it was truly 7 days or not, it ended up being declared as a win for science, even though it was really a win for the publicity of the idea of evolution and Christianity, but it also helped Dayton, Tennessee get all kinds of attention. I mean, at the trial, the article in the New York Times describes how there were hot dog stands and the courthouse was packed. So it shows that it really was not, in some ways, a focus. It was not as focused as they intended. They really wanted to make it about the view of Christianity and evolution, but it turned out to be some kind of fight against the celebrities of the day. Thank you for listening, and I anticipate your answers.